Welcome back, gals and ghouls, to the wonderful world of Where the Ghoulies Spill the Tea.
Hello, and welcome back to our haunted parlor.
Today we're covering internet stories from Reddit.
Ooh, tales from very creepy corners of the internet. We're finally leaving Florida. Mostly, I think.
We're trying to.
We're doing our best, man. For a very flat place, it really keeps us here.
Surprisingly, there's hills here.
Huh. Where?
Hold on, I'm trying to remember. I think Snake Road.
Snake Road.
Yes. When you're going to the Native American reserves.
Oh, like the reservations.
Yes.
Got you. Yeah, I would probably get stuck in the swamp sooner, but good to know that there are in fact some hills in Florida.
Yes. So we're covering creepy encounters. Lovely Lady Mel, do you have any creepy encounters to tell?
Does it count if it was from a metaphysical creature?
I believe it does.
All right, because it certainly spooked me. So, all right. At some point in the future, as we travel further into our supernatural journeys and out of Florida, I do intend on covering Appalachia. So Appalachia in the States is a region with a lot of folklore and, superstition and critters. And the thing about Appalachian critters is that they want to get you, and they will use any tricks possible to get you. And I was up in Georgia with a friend. We were just doing a girls' long weekend in a cabin in the woods out in Georgia. And that first night we're there, we're looking at everything, we're getting our rooms all sorted out, and we're basically at opposite ends of this pretty decently sized cabin. So I go to bed, I'm sleeping, I'm chilling, I'm doing my thing, and I hear my friend's voice, Melanie, help! Melanie, help, please! And my eyes spring open. I jump out of bed. I shove my titty back into my shirt because it had Andre the Giant out of where it was. So my larger chested ladies, you understand the struggle. Sometimes you go to sleep with it in and it comes up out. I had to tuck myself in. I needed to be polite. So I'm walking over to the door. I put my hand on the handle and I remember something. This specific friend of mine does not call me Melanie. She does not use my government name. She calls me Mel. And we're very intentional about that. She calls me Mel. I call her by her preferred short name. And I realize, oh, I don't think that was my friend calling me. I think that was a critter mimicking my friend's voice. So I got back in bed, put myself under the covers, pulled my feet under the blanket so no one could get my toes, and I shut my eyes and forced myself to go back to sleep. So the next morning rolls around. I'm stumbling out of my room. I see my friend in the kitchen. She's making coffee. And I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry if I missed what you needed me for last night. You weren't calling me at 4 a.m., were you? And she looked at me like I had 3 heads. And she was like, I was dead to the world. I was asleep. Why would I be calling you at 4 a.m? I'm like, okay, girl, something with your voice did, so we need a safe word. We do not go out into the lobby unless we're sure it's one or the other calling us for real. So we had to come up with a safe word to use for the rest of the trip so a critter wouldn't get us in Georgia.
Did you have to use a safe word at all after that?
To my recollection, I don't believe we did. We did also spend quite a night getting, a little turned in a hot tub too. So I can't really remember all of that trip. But yeah, so that was my encounter from beyond. What about you, Jess? What encounters have you had that have kind of spooked you a little bit?
I think as much as paranormal encounters are scary, I think the real life ones are a little bit more dreadful.
People are terrifying, girl.
Very terrifying. Back when I was 19 and 20, so this is roughly around 2014, 2015.
Okay, a while ago. A minute.
I used to work at Walmart night shift.
So you are someone who has not only met the people of Walmart, but the people of Walmart night shift.
Yes, I've met them. I've dealt with them because I was a cashier.
Oh boy, yep. If I wasn't already sitting, I'd be sat.
So this happens in a sense. The gentleman that had approached me was best friends with one of the night managers. And at Walmart, I don't really remember. It's been a long time for me. If it was considered a general manager or, well, I believe they were general managers. So we had multiple. So there were, I think, 3 different general managers for night and 3 for the morning. And they would alternate. So he was friends with one of the night managers that was also a male. But this guy was super nice. Very caring, like always there for you. And in the beginning, it was fine. I made conversation with him. Normal. Then he offered me a job. At this point in time, I was earning $11.25 at a Walmart during night shift.
And, considering the time and the place, that's not that bad.
It's not that bad. And he was offering me $15 the hour.
Ooh.
To be his secretary, he was offering me $15. I spoke about it with my, at then time, boyfriend, now husband. And we looked up this guy's company. And we're like, okay, he does have a company, but it was inactive.
Huh.
And when you go through Florida, the way you check somebody's company is through sunbiz.org.
Right.
And you can check if they've been active or inactive. Usually if they're inactive, it just means that they haven't reported for the year.
Mm-hmm.
But that already sent alarm bells. So I had my boyfriend at the time drive me there, wait for me in the parking lot, because we met up at the McDonald's that was in this Walmart. And the gentleman had told me, all right, let's go in my car.
Excuse me? No.
And I'll show you the roads. Like, I'll show you everything you gotta do, da-da-da. And immediately something in my pit of my stomach, my gut told me, do not get in that car with him.
No, you never go to a second location with these people. With anyone, really.
Never. So I told him, hey, I currently have my significant other in the car. We're gonna follow you because this is just a safety precaution. He did not like that. Immediately, like a switch has flipped on him. He's like, oh, so he's controlling. He doesn't let you get a job. Doesn't let you advance.
He says having met you at your job.
Exactly.
You know?
And I just looked at him and I go, hey, I don't think this is gonna work out. I'm just gonna go. And I made a mad dash out of there. And I remembered I had told at that time one of my coworkers this was happening. And he was in that McDonald's seated a few seats away.
Oh no.
Hearing everything that was happening.
Ooh.
So he had like, okay, I know if this guy comes around to keep an eye out and warn Jess.
Yeah, like something shady.
Howard, you were the best coworker. This gentleman would start finding me in Walmart, wherever I was located.
No.
Yes. And he would tell me the creepiest thing. I was working in electronics. He would get a camera bag. He would unzip the camera bag and he says, a woman's body is like a temple, you know.
Ew!
You can't just let anybody inside because you'll corrupt the body and your body's meant for God.
Brother, ew!
And then he would go, you know, you're young. You should be experimenting. You shouldn't be just with one person. You're not even married yet.
I think I would have preferred the cryptid in Georgia. That's horrifying.
Do you want to know the best part, Melanie?
What's the best part?
Can you guess what he was?
Let's see. Overly fixated on a woman that he cannot have, thinks he can tell her what to do, and has a weird Madonna whore complex. I'm going Christian.
Besides being religiously Christian.
Okay, so beyond being super religiously Christian.
His wife was dead.
A widower.
He didn't call himself a widower.
Oh no. Oh no, there's another word and it's the worst one for this. He was a bachelor, wasn't he?
Yep.
Brother, ew.
And ladies and gents, this is what I mean by be careful who you speak with, but also when someone's in trouble, step up. I went to the general manager at that time with another woman. We did not get along at all. I told her everything. And instead of dismissing my claims, she's like, don't worry, stay here. We'll take care of it. And they walked this gentleman out with the security guards because the security guards were my friends at that time too.
Hey.
And I told them everything. So whenever they would see him and they knew I was working, they would refuse him access into that Walmart.
Good. It's open other hours. He can go and preferably he can not come back. And even more preferably, he can not be creepy and making a terrible name for his faith out there.
Well, that ends my creepy story. Now, Mel.
Oh, is it time?
It's time. What is your creepy tale from the internet?
All right. I am starting on reddit.com/creepyencounters. The story I have been given is called I Think I Was Almost Kidnapped as a Child. So just, submitting for the Midnight Society for those of you who grew up with Nickelodeon at a certain time. This is by user SadTip7992. 2 days ago, so this is recent.
Very recent.
When I was a child, somewhere in the mid-2000s, I had an encounter with a stranger that I think was suspicious when I remembered it years later. And I read the beginning of that, and it's like, when I was a child, I was like, when I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band, which is in itself its own creepy encounter, but not this story.
Yeah, I agree.
I was young. I don't know how old, but I'm 30 now, and heelys were a big thing then, if that gives you a rough estimate of age. Oh my God, heelys. I taught with heelys, and then it was the fidget spinners. It was always something, folks. I was in elementary school, and my mom worked at the school. Down the road, less than a mile, was the post office. My mom had some letters she wanted to drop off, and having some heelys, I wanted to walk to the post office from the school. My mom agrees that she will be literally only a few minutes behind me. So, I'm going down the sidewalk, doing my thing, when this car pulls up next to me, coming head on. I think it was a tan or light brown 4-door sedan, and this man talks to me through the passenger window and simply asks if I needed a ride. It made me uncomfortable, and I said no. I'm meeting my mom at the post office and kept walking. So he drives past me and turns into the school, and a minute later, he pulls back out of the school, heading towards me again. Luckily, by this time, I'm at the post office door, and I open it and walk in just as his car is passing me. It creeped me out a little then, but I didn't realize till I was older how close that encounter was.
That was super close.
Yeah, no, that's wild. That is, kids, I've noticed, kids and animals are really good judges of character. And there's just something about, seeing things as they are without being told what's socially acceptable and appropriate and adhering to those rules and be like, nope, this is creepy and I'm going to call it creepy and I can be rude. This is creepy and I don't like it.
No, yeah, they listened to their gut and that saved them.
So we have some comments on this story. So Curious.3635 writes, when I was about 6, my friend and I were walking home from school. We had heard that a blue taxi had tried to lure kids into the car and the community was on the lookout. While we were walking, a blue taxi pulled up and a man was calling out to us saying he would give us a lift home. We took off running and cut through a neighbor's yard to my house. We ran inside, this is the late 70s and we were all latchkey kids, and hid behind the living room window curtains and watched that car drive up and down my street. Scared the crap out of me. I don't think they ever found the guy.
Oh, God.
OP replied to this one. That's crazy. I've tried a few times to look up in my area to see if anything ever happened in the 2000s around my area to any other kids, and I never found anything. I think I would feel guilty for not reporting it as a child, even though I didn't really understand. Just crazy.
It's that 2020 vision.
Hindsight. NoZone6137 writes that he turned around and came back part is the biggest red flag. Glad your younger self had the instinct to mention your mom was right behind you.
One moment. Repeat that Redditor's name again.
NoZone6137.
Listeners, you can't see right now. I am currently smiling at my co-host.
Uh-huh.
Keep that name in mind.
I will keep that name in mind. Interesting. Plotting, scheming even. I feel like there's a story behind that. Is it the one you're telling next?
It is.
Oh?
Do you have any other comments you wish to finish?
Not on this one. I'm really more curious about what's coming, honestly.
So from our last commenter, our OP for this one is NoZone6137.
Oh, snap! Oops!
I'm in my 50s now, and I finally told my sister why I was so overprotective when we were kids.
Okay, because you were smiling like you were NoZone6137, and I'm like, you're not in your 50s.
I am not in my 50s yet.
Give it time. You'll get there.
Yeah, we all do.
God and everything willing.
I'm sure this happened in the mid-80s. I was 12 and my sister was 9. We walked home from school every day, a route we knew by heart. It's funny how a memory can stay so vivid for 40 years, but I can still feel the exact moment the hair on my arms stood up. We were about halfway home from school when I noticed an older man was just repairing some shoes. I think that's the way he earned money, on the side of the road. Now I know my sister was a very lively girl, and I'm not lying when I say she's the prettiest in their classroom and even in our block. I got the chills the moment he looked at my sister. It's a different kind of creeps. It's something that you will feel your hair rising. I became alert of what was happening behind us, and my gut never betrayed me. He started following us, keeping a consistent distance. My sister, being 9, was totally oblivious. She was just chatting away about her day, swinging her backpack, and I can't even scream. It's like I don't know how to talk when I'm full of stress and fear with the situation. I knew if we turned onto our street, which was quiet and lined with trees, that we'd be alone with him. Right before I turned, there was a small local restaurant. I didn't explain anything. I just grabbed my sister and pulled her inside. We didn't buy anything. I led her straight to the back near the restrooms. We just stood there in the narrow hallway. I remember my sister was confused and started complaining that she wanted to go home because she was hungry and wants to eat cookies that our mother promised to bake that day. But I just kept my hand on her shoulder and kept gesturing to be quiet. I peeked through the side window. Maybe 30 seconds later, the man walked past. He stopped. He stood on the sidewalk looking up and down the road, looking genuinely frustrated that he had lost sight of us. He lingered for what felt like an hour, but was probably only 2 minutes, before he finally gave up and kept walking. We waited a long time before I felt safe enough to leave. From that day on, I refused to take that route. I made us walk 2 blocks out of the way, and I never let her be more than an arm length away from me. Last week, we were talking about our childhood, and she asked me why I was always so bossy and paranoid about her leaving the house alone back then. When I finally told her the truth, the look on her face says she had no idea she was ever in danger. I'm 54 now, and I still think about that man, and I still feel the same chills every time we walk past that route. That
is literally chilling.
Goosebumps are appearing on my arm. So we have some comments. We have Enforce. Well done. You gave her the gift of physically and psychologically safe childhood. I hope she understands that now. Or how did she react when you told her? Nozone 6137 says, she looked very clueless. She doesn't even remember seeing the man that repaired shoes on the side of the road. I don't know if she was too unaware of her surroundings that time, or just simply forgot because of old age. But if the reason was the former, and I wasn't with her that time, I don't know what would have happened to her that day. I'm too afraid to think that way because I still feel scared when I remember his face.
Ooh, goodness gracious.
Yes. And we have a lot more comments here, but they're way longer. So, Lady Melanie, what is your second story?
Ooh, my second tale from the internet. It is called A Man Tried to Break Into My Hotel Room. It is also like the rest of our stories on Creepy Encounters, and this is by a throwaway user with a lot of numbers, so we're just gonna go with throwaway. And I love this post because it starts with a prologue, because it's basically like how I tell stories. Like, I will get to the point eventually, but you need to know the prologue, and you gotta set the stage first. You gotta have context with me and these stories sometimes. This post was formally removed. Well, that's always a good start.
Ooh.
Reposting with clarification, since some people can't imagine how the lobby could see hotel room doors or how a hotel room on the top floor could have a window. So, to help you imagine, Google the Embassy Suites lobby in Atlanta, Georgia. This may not be the exact one I stayed at, but it was similar. The hotel lobby was in the center. The hotel rooms lined the walls in a U shape, and a mezzanine balcony overlooked the lobby at every floor. There were windows on the outside of each room towards the mezzanine balcony. We were on the top floor, but this was still the case for a room. Not sure why it wouldn't be. Additionally, the structure made the hotel very echoey. The lobby had something like marble or laminate floors, and visitors' footsteps resonated all the way to the top floor, along with their distorted voices and the sound of the water feature. And, if I remember properly, The elevator and hallways leading to the rooms were plexiglass, so those structures also didn't dampen sound like carpet and wood. These details led me to believe that the lobby could have seen and heard the commotion. So there's a commotion.
Ooh.
Interesting. Also, as someone who has frequented many an anime convention, this layout makes sense to me. I don't know if Dragon Con takes place at this specific hotel, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did, or a hotel similar to this one. Now, to the story. When I was about 9 years old, my family went on vacation. My father got a room at Embassy Suites for himself, 5 daughters, and 2 of our female friends, all aged 9 to 15. I guess it drew somebody's attention because that night, someone tried to break in.
No.
I had sleep problems, even at that age. It was about 3 a.m. Bro. Oh no. Why do these things always happen in Georgia, Jess?
It's the witching hour.
Oh my God, the literal witching hour. I was sitting in the living room chair in the dark. There was a man at the window when I heard the door open. It happened so fast. The chain lock snapped taut, halting the door. He forcefully thrusted the door twice more, but the chain didn't break. Yo, shout out to the chain company.
Shout out to that chain company.
The chain lock snapped taut, halting the door. He forcefully thrusted the door twice more, but the chain didn't break. He then squeezed his face through the crack. Oh no, never do that. That's horrifying. Creepy. It's giving Here's Johnny. No.
I was thinking the same thing.
He just needs an axe. Actually, no, he doesn't. I watched his single eye dart frantically around the room. He looked coked up or something. His gaze passed over everybody sleeping on the floor. Then he noticed me, sitting in the chair, perfectly illuminated by the light from the crack in the door. Fantastic. Fantastic. This is horrifying. We locked eyes for about 30 seconds. His eyes seemed to bulge. He thrusted the door once more, failing to break the lock. Then he closed the door and left. This whole time, nobody awoke. They may have been drinking that night. Yes, even though they were underage. Even the 9-year-olds? I told my father about it the next morning, but he didn't seem to care. But I've always been unsettled by a few details. Detail the first. The setup of the hotel meant that anybody manning the desk could have likely heard the commotion and seen him breaking in. He didn't seem worried by this. Detail the second. He opened a door so quickly. Perhaps he had access to a key. Detail the third. Most notably, how brazen his attempt was. Like he was certain he'd not get caught or he wouldn't face consequences. Perhaps he'd done it before.
Ooh.
So, now we check out the comment gallery, starting with Franco Kitty. Could have been someone that worked at the hotel. I've been hit on by men working at hotels in Amsterdam and Paris. I lock the hotel door and move furniture in front of the door. If they try to break in, I will hear them. I carry mace as well. Keep it by my bed. Hotels are great hunting grounds for predators. Be safe.
Oh, they're so right.
Well, because it's always out-of-towners. Never going to be someone who's local, so it's someone who's, if they're out on vacation and, people know that they're out and they don't hear from them for a day or two, whatever, that's fine. It's only after like a few days that people start getting worried.
Yep, and the first, 72 hours that is the most important one.
Damidon writes, it's rare for the front desk staff to stay at the desk the entire night. Normally it's just a night auditor working, so they stay in the back office going over the day's paperwork. I worked at an Embassy Suites, and I know that it's not uncommon for there to be commotion late at night. Eventually you ignore it. So that's protocol.
Oh, that is a bad protocol.
I kind of see it because they don't want to escalate and get themselves in trouble or got by whatever cracked out person might be in the hotel lobby.
Yeah, but at least call the police or security.
I agree. And then depending on the type of hotel and the location, sometimes the police showing up makes it worse.
Oh, gosh.
It really varies. All right, sidewalk tomato. Sounds like a hotel employee, drunk. An employee could get a hold of the key and have an excuse to be on site. Drunkenness would explain the length of time it took him to close the door. A sober person, or a person on a stimulant, would have thought more quickly and muttered an excuse. He may have been under the mistaken impression that your father was not in the room. With 8 people, it wasn't unlikely that there would be 2 rooms, and that the older girls would have their own.
Also take into consideration, it was one man, so the father, and a bunch of girls.
Of girlies, yeah.
So they saw an opportunity, or they may have thought it was a different situation completely.
And once they realized they weren't getting what they wanted, they pieced out. And that is basically all the comments I have. Let's say we take one last journey.
And I'll be delivering this journey for us. We're following OP Top Degree 7267.
Ooh.
I might have met a serial killer.
Might. Oh, there is a story here. Okay.
Might.
Mayhaps even.
I was a teen runaway heading back home to Washington from Montana on February 25th, 1997. So we were both alive during this time.
In fact, both alive. I was alive about 10 years at that point.
3 for me.
Baby.
Yes. I had 2 male companions, also teen runaways, with me. And we had stopped at a Quartz Flats campground rest stop in Montana for a break from our drive. It was snowing heavily as we left the rest stop. I could barely see the road to I-90 when I saw a man carrying a little boy hitchhiking. My first thought was, he was an idiot. Parents endangering his child, and that poor kid shouldn't be in a blizzard. It never occurred to me to wonder where his car was located. I picked them up so the boy wouldn't freeze. The man never offered any information about where he came from or where he was going. The man also did not realize when I picked him up that I had 2 teen boys in the back of my van, and he became unnerved and began speaking in this mechanical fashion about buying a boat in Arizona. You know where you get a good boat? Arizona. Do you know why? There's no ocean, so they sell them cheaper. I was relieved when he turned to the boys in the back of my Plymouth Voyager and began talking to them, so I could tune him out and concentrate on driving. The man had curly brown hair with a devil lock in the front and a scar on his upper lip and his chin. The boy appeared to be between 2 to 4 years old, wearing a blue coat, red or blue warm-up pants with either an offset red or blue seam on the pants, and light-colored boots that resembled construction boots. The boy would not look at any of us, nor did he turn to the man for comfort, just looked down to the floor and didn't move from the man's lap. I felt bad for him, thinking he must be so scared of us. They were not with us very long, and the man asked to be let out at a gas station in Superior, Montana.
As opposed to just regular Montana. Terrible joke, I know.
And that was the end of that interaction. In 2017, I found true crime, and it made me reflect on 17-year-old me and the terrible risks I took hitchhiking and picking up hitchhikers. I had a few disturbing rides, but the one that sticks out the most was the hitchhiker and the boy. On a whim, I googled serial killers, I-90, and missing children. I remembered the man looked like one of my hometown attorneys, very distinctive eyes. I didn't really believe I would find any likely offenders until I did. My heart dropped when I saw the devil's lock, the scar on his lip and chin, and even more when I found a video he posted online, his mechanical voice, style, and tone matching the boat guy, Joseph Duncan III. The worst part was, there was a little boy that went missing in the same region 2 days prior. I connected with his aunt and she connected with me with the FBI because I provided a detail that they hadn't made public. If you're ever researching Duncan, you know that he was the one of the worst human beings ever. He had a court date on the same day I would have picked him up, coincidentally his birthday, and there is no record of him showing up for that court date. There was a warrant issued for his arrest in 1997 for missing a court date, and by April he absconded and ended up in California, where he took the life of another young victim. I wrote him a letter and he wrote back and stated that he was not the man I picked up, but that I was very brave for picking up a hitchhiker. The letter is the weirdest thing I've ever received in the mail. Here's a link to the letter. I'll be posting up that letter for those that are watching the podcast. One more thing. While I was looking into the timeline of Duncan, I reached out to the 2 teenagers that were with me at that time. They both said that it could be him based on the photos and in the videos, but they couldn't be 100% sure. They said the creepiest part was when the man turned around to talk to them. He had said, "You're not gonna buy any of this bullshit, are you?" And then he asked to be let out at the next town. We have a commenter, top value 7293. I wonder what happened to that little boy.
Bro. Same.
Me too. OP responds, "We wonder as well. One of the comments from my male friends was that we probably could have taken this guy, but we really didn't know what was going on. We knew he was creepy, but he was also an adult and we didn't know what to make of the situation." And Cherry Meg 2 responds to OP, "You guys were kids, but older than that child. That man could have been a kidnapper or a crappy parent. Had he been the kid's father, you didn't want to get arrested for beating him up and taking his child to the police station or hospital. It's good you had friends you could trust. Some people wouldn't have stopped. When I was 17, I picked up a woman hitchhiking. I was scared, but she was nice and on my way to the mall. I was worried some guy would kidnap her. She's older than me. I've hitchhiked since then. Hopefully that guy wasn't a serial killer or a kidnapper. You didn't do anything wrong, and you were kind. I'm suspicious of people that suddenly get freaked out when they realize a person isn't alone. That's also cool that you've confronted a serial killer to make sure you didn't help them abduct a child.
Ooh, yeah.
You're a good person.
I scrolled down and found what I think is my favorite comment in this thread.
Ooh, sure.
All caps. You gave a serial killer your home address?
Wait. Oh my god, I see it now.
Kaladin the Fabulous.
And then OP's responding, lol, no, not at all. A friend of mine is a private investigator and allowed me to use their P.O. box.
Look, we're not recommending you do that, but if you do, P.O. box is all the way down.
Exactly. Please, as much as I understand that sometimes you do need a hitchhike and like some people are very considerate and they want to pick up hitchhikers, there's a reason we have laws against hitchhiking and picking up hitchhikers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, stranger danger was overblown, but that doesn't mean it's not real.
We have had serial killers that have played hitchhikers, and we have had serial killers that have picked up hitchhikers.
Either way, you want to make sure you're getting to your destination in the safest way possible.
Now, here's the thing that I have a question more for you, my audience, along with my co-host, is what do you guys consider is creepy?
Ooh, so for me, it's the lack of control in some of these situations. Like sometimes you are at the mercy of forces and people that are legitimately bigger and stronger than you. And that hit the most with like the story of the kid in the hotel room with like, you know, if the chain had broken, that could have ended very differently. And it's by the grace of that chain staying on that door that person gave up.
They got very lucky for that.
And, you know, that was not in anybody's control. It just so happened that they picked the room with a strong chain, and so did that guy.
The guy decided to fight the door, and the door won.
As it should have.
Exactly.
What about you?
For myself, the creepy factor is you know something's wrong, and just like you said, it's out of your control. You just have to ride it through and hope you get out of it safely.
And, you know, when us humans... some of us questionably, but we'll get there. When us humans are in a situation like that, we have very real, like, bodily responses.
We do. It's the 4 Fs. Do you know them?
No, that's not what they are. They are fight and flight are the classics. Yes. And then there are the newer ones of freeze and fawn.
Yes. For our listeners, everyone is very knowing when it comes to flight and fright. Where flight is you run away from the situation because your body deems that you have no way of winning if you decide to fight the situation. So your body will automatically run. There's fight where your body assumes that they can take on the threat and you will start throwing hands.
Mm-hmm. Or flipping tables, as the case may be.
Yep.
There's freeze, which is what that little boy was doing in the serial killer story, where he was just at the mercy of this guy and just not interacting with anybody. He was just dissociating in that situation. And then there's fawn, which is, I don't want to call it something reductive like Stockholm Syndrome, but I feel like that's one of the ways people tend to understand it. And it's when, you know, you're in a situation where you recognize that your survival or your ability to get out of that situation means ingratiating yourself to your oppressor. It means staying on their good side and keeping them happy. So fawning all over them.
Mm-hmm. So listeners, we implore you to please be careful out there. Keep an eye out. And if your gut's telling you something is wrong, listen to it.
Mm-hmm. We have intuition for a reason. And next time, we'll be seeing devils in a completely other state. Probably one of the darkest ones of all, New Jersey.
Ooh.
Meet us next time for our original Jersey homeboy, the Jersey Devil himself.
Thank you for joining us today on
Where the Ghoulies Spill the Tea. Sip, sip.
Thank you for staying after the show. Please enjoy your bloopers. And we'll be seeing you next Wednesday. I don't want that.
Oh, nobody wants that. And they only come out every 17 years.
Oh, gosh. Welcome back, gals and ghoulettes.
Hello, hello, hello.
1 second, it was supposed to be gals and
Ghouls and
ghoulies.
ghoulettes. Coolie ghoulies.
Welcome back, gals and ghouls. We are hoping you have a wonderful Wednesday.
You said gals and ghouls again.
No, it wasn't because I
Was
said
it?
ghoulettes last time.
Oh, whoops. Oh, retake. My bad.
Yeah,
Trying to be inclusive here, ghoulies.
It's gals and ghoulies because I accidentally said ghoulettes the first time.
Ah, got you.
Welcome back, gals and ghoulettes. God dang it! I'm stuck with ghoulettes now.
I thought that's how it was. That's how I've been saying it. Ghouls and ghoulettes.
Ghouls and ghoulettes. Because I always started off with gals.
You know who you are, you spooky people.
Exactly. Or how did she? Yeah, that's exactly how they wrote it.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes I see that and my little my Grammarly in my head is like, we're gonna fix that and just make it make sense, Melanie. Go, do it.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do here too.
Mm-hmm.
Wonders of editing.
You will never break the chain, and if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear you saying we would never break the chain. Keep us together. All right, you're welcome, by the way. It's rare for the front desk staff to stay at the desk that time is night. I'm going to read that sentence as it's written, and then I'm going to fix it.
Yes.
It's rare for the front desk staff to stay at the desk that time is night.
Oh my god, I don't know why I'm having struggling reading.
It happened.
Ooh, Melanie, help me with that word.
Hold up.
ABS.
Absconded.
He absconded?
Absconded, yeah.
Mm-hmm.